black men do feel a certain kind of way about always being called a bunch of dusties and these genocidal ideations that divestors are talking about. So yeah, there is an air of, you reap what you sow. What's up, family? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Thatbaldbrutha. Today we're going to be sliding over to Shay Day to talk about why some black men feel that protecting black women isn't a priority. Let's get into it.
Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about why Black men are less motivated to protect Black women. So recently I did a live about Lauren Smith Fields. I'm sure you're familiar with it, a beautiful young woman that was recently killed, or at the very least found dead. They're still trying to figure out what happened.
All right, before we get into all that, let me give a little bit of backstory if you're not familiar with the case. This young lady met this white guy on Bumble, a dating app, and went out to meet him, and things didn't go well. So it's a lot of controversy right now regarding the police involvement, whether or not they're taking the case very seriously, whether they're giving the guy a pass, and the whole controversy with the family about about how the case is being handled. So just bringing you up to speed on what we're talking about, but let's get back to it.
Either way, she's a young African American woman who was found dead in her apartment. They're undergoing investigations, and of course, it's coming out that she was a divester, or at the
Oh,
very least,
wow.
divester adjacent.
I didn't know that.
Now, here is the thing. What was interesting to me is once I did the live, I started to see a consistent kind of comments come in. And I want to read one in particular that I think kind of encompasses an ideology that not all men, but some Black men within the Black community are feeling. This is the same sister that stated that she was done with Black men labeling them coloreds. But now they are calling upon Black men to stand for justice on her behalf. It's unfortunate what happened to her, but I must decline playing any of my energy towards this case and bow out of this gracefully.
So let me first say, I understand how this gentleman might feel. And what I will say in response to that is it doesn't matter that she was a divester, right? People have their ideologies, people have their beliefs. It's her prerogative to feel the way she feels, but she is still a member of the Black community and should be treated as such. Even though she may have made a mistake, we all make mistakes. Unfortunately, hers cost her life. But that doesn't mean that we should just abandon her and ostracize her from the community because she made poor choices. You have to be careful with that kind of statement because it's a thin line, like almost like even though you're bowing out gracefully, you're not excusing what happened. And you got to be clear that we don't, even though she was a divester, we don't condone what happened. Even if she wasn't killed, she was hurt in some kind of way. We still don't condone. We still don't say, you see, you look at you got what you deserve. We don't want to go down that road. She still is a sister and still is considered part of the community. And we should rally behind the parents to make sure that whoever did this, whatever happened, justice is served in spite of her choices.
Oh, this is one of many comments that I received that shared this sentiment, but I wanted to share that one in particular because, again, I thought it did a really good job of encompassing this overall sentiment. So basically, there are men out here who are just like, listen, if a woman has decided to divest, and in her effort to divest or marry out of the community, she starts to bash, she starts to label Black men as bad, she starts to shame them, berate them, insult them, or whatever. I should no longer be responsible for whatever happens to her. And there's a lot of men who are having this feeling and having this sentiment. And so I
don't think it has anything to do with responsibility. I think it has more so to do with, again, justice being served. I give you an abstract example, perhaps. If a young man is arrested for committing robbery or committing some kind of crime, and during the arrest he is shot and killed, he didn't do anything to warrant the death, but he was killed. So even though he committed a crime, we don't say, oh, good riddance because he committed the crime. We still feel sorry and feel bad about the fact that he died. So we wouldn't excuse the fact that he chose a life of crime and got caught and got hemmed up in the process. We wouldn't go easy on the police officers that killed him because he died during the arrest. We would ignore the crime and still treat him like, okay, this dude made a mistake, but he didn't deserve to die for it. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that even though She said some hurtful things. The colors comment was not appropriate, clearly, but she's still human. She's allowed to make mistakes. And like I said earlier, it's unfortunate the way this played out, but I don't think she deserves to be cast out like a leper because she made some poor choices and some poor remarks.
Was shocked, but I guess not really surprised at the same time that I started to see this. You know, you're seeing some are just like, hey, this is an unfortunate case. It's not being treated respectfully. And there's also people out there who are just like, you know, you play with fire, you get burned. Like you're the one out here who was saying these different comments, posting these different things. And while I certainly didn't wish anything bad on you, I as a black man don't feel responsible if you were very clear about the fact that you know you don't want to deal with me anymore. So this is what we are actually starting to see within the black community. There is this tension, and you know, I would say me personally, I think right is wrong, or the right is right and wrong is wrong. And I try to live my life doing right by a person or doing right by people, irregardless of how they act.
Correct.
I stand before God, and so my goal is to treat people respectfully and try to treat people honor, you know, treat people with honor, no matter who they are, no matter how they act. Just because, like I said, I, at the end of the day, have to answer to God.
Correct.
But that is how I believe. That is how I act. That is how I respond. Many people out there very much are just like, hey, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You're going to reject me. I'm going to reject you back. And that is what is going on a lot in the community. I see a lot of women who are saying, hey, I want to divest. I want to go over here. I want to leave. I want to leave Tyrone and go to Brad or go to Zaddy or whatever. And the thing is, if you are truly divesting from the community, is it now the responsibility of the community that you divested from to protect you? And that is a really real issue, a really real question going on right now. So, you know, to me, it's been really interesting to see this going on. I think the sad thing at the end of the day is that it's so common at this point to see women bashing men within the community, and like no one bats an eye. Like there seems to be no social consequences associated with it. And we're starting to see men be like, you know what, forget about it. If you're going to talk about me, if we're going to have this culture where it's okay for you to just bash us, and then at the same time we're supposed to just defend you, we're not doing that anymore. Like we need respect. And so
I agree. It's a very sad state of affairs that we're in currently, where men and women, black men and women anyway, can't have conversations without bashing each other over the head. And yeah, she's right. We black men do feel a certain kind of way about always being called a bunch of dusties and these genocidal ideations that divestors are talking about. So yeah, there is an air of, you know, you reap what you sow out here. It's unfortunate. Clearly, these women, a lot of them are hurt, and they're acting out because they're hurt. They're making choices based on a few dudes, a handful of guys they've had bad experiences with, and deciding that this is the way the world works, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. And that's fine. It's your prerogative to go out and date who you want to date. No one's saying you can't date who you want to date. But I think we as black men need to still step up and be like, you know what? Yeah, you made some poor choices, but we're still going to stand behind. We're going to still show that the right thing to do is for us to support and try to make sure that justice is served. I'm not saying it makes it any easier. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy pill to swallow. I'm not saying it makes the best sense. I'm just saying that's the right thing to do. It's kind of a catch-22, to be perfectly honest, because if we do nothing, then you see that there they go. Then black men ain't nothing good anyway. But if we do the right thing, oh, now you want to step up. Now you want to shine. Now you want to do something. So we can't win in this conversation, unfortunately.
lack of respect in the community definitely is a problem, definitely is an issue. And like I said, at the end of the day, there's guys out here who are just like, if you're going to disrespect me, I don't feel obligated to take care of you. I don't feel obligated to now have to bend over backwards for you when you've made it clear that you don't need me. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, well, are they wrong for feeling that way? Is that valid? Is that not valid? I mean, this is a very, very real talking point. And, you know, whether or not we believe it or not, ladies, whether or not we think it's right or not, ladies, like at the end of the day, if we are women and we're going out there bashing men, especially bashing men in the Black community, talking about how bad they are, talking about how dusty they are, why we don't need them, why we decided to divest from them, can we really expect that they're always going to be there for us as a community if we have already said we don't need you? I mean, what do you think? What do you think? What is a good way to respond to the situation?
I mean, you're right. The expectation should be that we would not be there. And that's why I feel like we should still step up, because we should still show people, show them that we're still Black men who stand on our principle, that no one should put their hands on or hurt anybody in our community, regardless of the decisions they make. Shout out to Shay Charday for a fantastic topic. Let me know in the comments your thoughts about that, whether or not we as Black men should let the divestors be and ostracize them from the community, no matter what happens to them. Or should we try to embrace them and open arms back into the community, even though they have made some controversial statements quite a bit? If you found value in this video, please don't forget to like and share the video. And before you walk out, don't forget to click that subscribe button and click the bell notification so you know anytime that I upload a video. Until next time, be safe, take care, and peace.